Welcome back to Inherently Optimistic. We are coming at you heavily edited from deep in the rainforests of the great American Pacific Northwest. And this is the show where me and my friends try to get to the bottom of things. I am world famous gaming YouTuber Jacob. Hang on, let me check the rank. Let me check the ranking today. Hold on.
Wait, you're actually pulling something up.
I am the 3,709th biggest games YouTuber.
Wow.
So I'm in the top 4,000. 17,349th highest
hi, I'm
subscriber
Tim.
channels. I'm
They
in the
made me
top
do a Hail Mary
20,000
before this
for
episode for some
you
reason.
probably could say I'm a
And I'm
a pretty
Amanda.
big
I
deal,
made
think.
him
I
do
would
the
say.
Hail Mary.
He likes to think
and
so.
also set up some cats for Freya, so we're blessed.
Yeah, we're trying to bless the podcast since we're all Catholics now, but we're doing like a connate sort of Catholicism where we're just putting everything in there because like something's got to work, but we're not really sure what it is yet. I have my notes here that I've got open because we keep notes over the weeks, over the week or two that it takes for us to make one of these to like think of funny things to talk about. And I remember that we were talking about like what the fuck. Okay, so do you remember when the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies came out?
Vaguely.
And everybody was saying that Andrew Garfield is like too cool to play Peter Parker.
What?
Like what? What do you mean? Like what do you think a cool guy is? Like how?
Was this because they saw him in The Social Network and he had his "fuck you" flip-flops line and people still thought that tech bros were cool?
I think that Marvel adults just think that like a guy who's a corked up shorty on a longboard is cool, but in real life that guy is the most annoying dude to be around. So like he's not cool. He wasn't cool.
That's like half the single guys in the largest city near us.
Well, I think what happened is when Andrew Garfield became Spider-Man, that was at about the time when there were all these news articles where people were like, being a geek is cool now. And like,
yeah,
being a geek has been cool for a long time. But at that point in time, news like blue check marks and journalists were finally starting to catch up with literally everyone else. So they were writing about it. So what happened was all the Marvel adults who only ever know how to get their news from blue check marks on Twitter are like, oh, he's so cool. He's too cool. This can't possibly fit.
It was the wave, that peak of the, oh my god, he's so adorkable and approachable, and like,
he's so
I
non-threatening.
could take him in a fight, but he's so dreamy.
Yeah.
For the record,
if Andrew Garfield tried to take my pants off, he'd have a hard time of it.
For the record,
I mean, he wouldn't have a hard time of it for me, but different reasons.
For the record, Andrew, I know you're listening.
I love your hair, babe. I love it.
Thank you for listening, by the way.
Yeah,
big fan.
It's crazy. You're like, your Patreon donations have been fucking insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. But for the record, you did a pretty good Spidey. I appreciate you. Thank you for your service. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Watched No Way Home very recently. I don't think there's actually a bad Spider-Man.
No. So
people talking shit on you, not fair. You did good.
Speaking of No Way Home, can you imagine if we're in sort of a multiverse of madness type situation, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the evil Jacob walks in the door and we have to do battle. But then like over the course of like the villain monologues, we like slowly but surely realize that I'm the evil Jacob and I've been the evil Jacob this entire time.
The eagle-eyed audience members will be aware that he is the good Jacob because his hair is just a few inches longer than yours.
It's a little bit longer and he has like 10,000 more YouTube subscribers than me.
Yeah.
So what we're finding out is that the real evil here is wasted potential.
Yeah, exactly. Like they say that when you die, when you go to hell, you meet the person that you could have been. That's who the good Jacob's going to be. He's going to be like, I finished college, Jacob.
Ooh.
I started doing YouTube in 2012, Jacob. It wasn't my fault. I was still on dial-up internet. I didn't have the resources. Wait, no, I got off dial-up in I think 2010 I got off dial-up.
Why would you remember that detail?
Okay, because you don't understand what it was like to be on dial-up for that long. That was a total fucking game changer. That was like my life before high-speed internet and after high-speed internet, not the same life.
Yeah.
He remembers it because it happened to him after it happened to us.
Yeah. I was an adult by the time I got off dial-up. I was a full-grown man. I was born in dial-up, dude.
I mean, I was too, but
Molded by it.
I got out, bitch.
By the time I had high-speed internet, I was already a man, and by then it was nothing but...
I kind of miss those sultry tones, though. Do you think we could ever have, like, an ASMR channel where it's just
just dial-up noises?
It's just light dial-up noises being played into a microphone.
It's dial-up noises over the sound. It's dial-up noises behind the sound of, like, a cam girl deep-throating your microphone.
You know what I want to hear, actually? You know how every now and if you go to YouTube, you can look up people who have done, like, really, really crazy high-def remasterings of old sounds?
Yeah.
So there's like a really crazy high-def noise of the PlayStation 1 startup noise, which is like crispy.
It's like not they've like got into the files and took out the version that's not compressed.
Yeah, basically.
And I think I like the GameCube one.
Yeah, and that's really good too. I want that, but the dial-up noise.
Oh, like a extremely ultra high, like ultra definition, like fucking. How do you rate audio? Because audio wouldn't be in 4K because 4K is a resolution,
right?
So what would like ultra high definition audio, and like you've got one of those sets of $10,000 headphones that are like the aux part is like gold plated and all the wiring is gold instead of copper, and you're like listening to the most refined version of the dial-up noise through $25,000 headphones.
Exactly.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I feel like that's getting into psychological warfare territory, and I could weaponize that. Yeah,
you definitely could. If you were like trapped, if I was trapped in Guantanamo Bay and they were making me listen to a high definition version of the dial-up noise, I would admit to whatever they were accusing me of.
It's
pretty
just
fast.
that looped, but with some awkward like record scratch repeating.
Yeah,
and then the Barney song.
I think Jeff Bridges would call that the dark side.
I would have to say yes. I did hack into the Pentagon and steal the files about aliens from Dulce Base and Groom Lake and Montauk and Bent Waters and the RAF Rendlesham and the Australian one that I'm forgetting about. All of those.
All of them.
Yeah.
No one at the table reacted to my Men Who Stare at Goats reference. That was impressive.
I haven't. You guys aren't going to believe this. I haven't actually seen The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Really?
Which is weird because I'm like the conspiracy guy, and that movie is all about Operation Stargate. I think it was what it was called.
It's like, oh goodness, it was Star something.
I think it was Operation Stargate. I've been watching a lot of media lately that has shown me how insane the 70s apparently were.
Oh yeah, like, you could get away with anything in the 70s, dude.
I think the 70s were the most unhinged decade in American history.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the perfect intersection of it didn't really cost that much to like be alive, so most people had extra money, and like there was enough technology for you to be able to like get around the country very easily, but there wasn't like phones or internet yet.
Yeah, we didn't have the infrastructure to track anything.
Well, it was just really weird golden age where you were living in the modern world without living in the information world. And it only existed for like from the 70s to the late 80s.
Yeah, because even the police departments and like patrols and shit didn't share information. That's how Ted Bundy was able to hop 3 different states and kill multiple people after he should have already been in jail.
It was the incredible blending of modern infrastructure without information infrastructure.
We were watching, but also just like the insane shit that people say that they did in the 70s. Like we were watching the Doc Antle Tiger King spinoff, which like, by the way, they're really trying to milk this Tiger King thing.
Oh,
because the follow-up season for Tiger King sucked, and the Doc Antle thing was like, kind of cool because they had a bunch of extra footage of him and a bunch of interviews with like other people, but at the same time it was like I don't really care about this that much. But the point is, one of the guys in that documentary was like, in the 70s I made a living as a juggler. It's like, what the fuck? What do you mean you made a living as a juggler? Speaking of documentaries, we also watched the Tinder Swindler.
Fuck.
Ooh.
And our real takeaway from the Tinder Swindler is that the first lady they interview, who's like the main lady through this whole thing, it sucks that she got scammed out of all of her money and she's having a rough time. But we've come to the conclusion that she must be one of the most annoying women on the planet. Because how do you have 1,024 Tinder matches and none of them have worked out? How are you pulling? Because a dating app, so you select for your bias on people that you're already attracted to, right? So you wouldn't match with somebody on Tinder unless you wanted to match with them.
Yeah.
So you have 1,024 people that you like saw their pictures and you read their profile and you're like, all right, this person seems cool. And out of that many, I bet you if I had 100 matches, there would be like 10 that were wife material out of 100, let alone 1,024.
It's just, well, the weird part is that when you're watching it, she seems like such a nice girl. She genuinely seems like a wonderful person. She seems nice. She seems very kind, very generous and thoughtful, and like, she seems to have a level of self-respect. She's not the kind of chick who would ordinarily let someone be like abusive. She got taken advantage of, obviously. So you're watching it and you're like, this woman seems kind of naive, kind of a Disney adult, but otherwise is normal. So what is happening here?
Yeah, that's the problem.
What's
She's
happening?
either... Okay, no, that's the exact problem. She's either a Disney adult or she watches way too many fucking Hallmark movies. Because a woman like that is trying to have the perfect romance that sweeps her off her feet, which doesn't fucking exist.
I just want a man to open doors.
I'd like to point out that the biggest red flag for me was how quickly she jumped on this Tinder Swindler guy, because he immediately started throwing money at her.
Yeah, my favorite part is
she is actively looking for a guy. This is how I know she's still single and why she's still single. As somebody who has dated men. She's looking for a dude who's loaded, who will take her out. She's looking for a dude that won't look at other women, who will give her all the lines and feed her everything she wants. That's how she fell for him, is because that's what she's looking for. But the only people that are actually going to give her that are people who are grooming to abuse her.
Yeah, I guess.
Dude, my favorite part about that whole thing was like, so they do the whole intro of her story where she's like, yeah, I met this guy and like he took me on a private jet and did all this stuff. And like after she talks about this like insane experience of going to like a fucking lizard people hotel and like being on the jet and like the crazy fucking dinner, she's like, yeah, there's just something I liked about him. I don't know what it was. I was like really interested in hanging out with him again. I was like, oh really? It had nothing to do with the private jet or the $1,000 dinner or the hotel. It was just some mysterious X factor some aura about him that you couldn't quite put your finger on.
Well, I feel bad when we hyper focus on that because like, yeah, she probably was really interested in the money, but like, I don't know. I feel like that just cheapens the fact that she was manipulated.
You hate to see somebody fall for a fucking trick, but then there's that like Schadenfreude part of your brain that is like, how did you fall for this? This is like the oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, here's what you do if you're a woman. You date the sweatiest gamer you can find.
Check.
I don't know, maybe he has like a little bit over 50,000 subs on YouTube.
Check.
Like he kind of dresses like shit, but like just entered a flannel era. So like most people can kind of pull off a flannel. Like that type of guy.
Ladies, you're welcome.
Has odd outdoor hobbies like archery or something like that.
Right.
Like this type of guy, I think, should be the goal for most women. Do you remember when we were watching that early human history documentary? And they were talking about how the first time that humans came in contact with Neanderthals, it was in modern day Israel.
Yes,
like, dude, if there was ever a fucking patch of dirt that could not catch a break, like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, since the dawn of human history, people have just been, like, murdering each other over, like, Wait, like, is Israel even cool? Is it like a good spot? Like, what's going on there? Is there like sick beaches?
I mean, if you're in the like Nile Delta area that people typically associate with like Egypt, that rocks. It's got nice coastlines. If you're in the Tigris Euphrates area that is in, I think, modern Syria, that rocks.
And Israel's on the other side of that bay from Egypt, right?
Yeah.
So it's very similar.
The between Egypt and Israel is the Sinai Desert, but like they're still very close to each other.
All I'm saying is that if humans keep murdering each other on and over the soil of Israel, we're probably going to see some sort of like cursed tree grow there, or some sort of like demon is going to come out of like a ravine in the ground. I don't think we can keep channeling this much death energy into that small of a piece of ground before we're paying the price for it.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna nuke it, or not we're gonna nuke it, like, Iran is gonna finally get pissed off and nuke Israel, and, like, the swirling atomic cloud is going to turn into, like, a radioactive version of the Fern Gully smoke demon. Like, this is not gonna be good. We have to. The vibes can no longer be this fucking.
Yeah, it's wild.
Crawling up through the crater is one of the old ones awakened from its slumber, ready to feast.
We gotta get rid of this guy now.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there is like a demon or an old one or some shit just sleeping under the soil, and that's why the land is so fucking.
He's trying to, like, drain enough blood into, like, the fucking rocks of the earth to rise again.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we need to do
That's
eventually...
why all the religious sites are there, and why people always go there and have religious experiences, because they go to, like, Jerusalem, and the whispers of the deep ones are coming up through the ground.
I need an EMF meter.
That makes sense.
I'm gonna need... So an EMF, I'm gonna need probably a digital recorder, maybe some spirit... Like a spirit board, a spirit box... a couple divination tools, and a couple plane tickets.
Oh yeah, and then also one last thing, because you're going into Israel, you need a piece of paper that makes it very clear that you are not Palestinian, so they don't just murk you for no reason.
Do I look Palestinian?
Yeah, I don't think a man is at any risk of being mistaken for a Palestinian. I don't want to talk about J.K. Rowling as the person, or any of the fucking shit about her at all. But what I do want to talk about is, I think somebody is intentionally trying to sabotage the new Harry Potter video game. So I'm gonna give a very fucking brief setup, and you'll either understand why this is insane or you won't. I don't care. I'm not going to do the J.K. Rowling video essay on the podcast. This information is very accessible. You can find it in the new video game. There is the plot is that the player character is playing as some random asshole Hogwarts kid. And there is an evil cabal of goblins that are trying to destabilize Wizard Society. And one of the things they are doing to destabilize Wizard Society is abducting wizard children. So, if you know the accusations about the large-nosed bank-running goblins and who they may or may not represent in the Harry Potter
Do they have little Peter Rabbit eyes, little button eyes?
Yeah, then you might see how this could be interpreted as a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
And my theory is, okay, so everybody who's working with J.K. Rowling right now has to know that this is a PR minefield. Like, they have to there has to be, like, there's no way that you're not going to have, like, meetings and, like, consultations to try and make sure that you can sort of, like, get around the reputation that she has, like, online.
Your fucking supervisor has her Twitter's bell rung, so every single time she tweets, he has direct access and can make sure she's not saying something just truly stupid.
And we also know that at this point, she more than likely doesn't really have that much creative control over stuff like this. Yeah. Like, she probably reviews it a little bit and, like, signs off on it a little bit and, like, reads the contract a little bit. But, like, J.K. Rowling isn't in there as, like, the lead developer or director on the game. Like, we know that she probably is mostly hands-off on a project like this.
Yeah, Joanne's just cashing the checks. That's all.
The only way that I can think of that you would have a plot line where it's like, okay, we're gonna have the goblins do blood libel. The only way that is possible is if, well, there's two ways. One would be that this like fucking game is actually being developed by like some bizarre cabal of fucking neo-Nazis that like made their way into being game developers, which honestly,
it's possible.
It's possible, but Nazis are really stupid and they always get caught. So I don't buy them being able to like keep their shit under wraps for a very long time because they're idiots. So option B, which is the option that I'm almost positive is the real one. There is a fucking maniac on this development team. Probably one of the guys who's in charge of the team, who's intentionally trying to fucking like torpedo the reputation of J.K. Rowling even farther. He's like, he is an agent of chaos, and he's like, dude, I'm going to make this so insane. I'm going to intentionally make the craziest fucking thing that anybody, and people will say, how did they get away with this? And I'm going to do it.
Wait, don't you also put down a slave rebellion
I think so.
in this game?
I think part of the plot is also involves like a house help slave rebellion or something.
It would also be so funny. I mean, sort of cosmically, objectively funny if like the Fourth Reich is brought about by just like Harry Potter adults. Like what an irony, what a twist that would be. I'm getting like beat with a switch in a concentration camp, and they're making me reread the fucking fourth Harry Potter book. Like, Jacob, I noticed that you haven't been paying attention to your scriptures. I'm like, God damn it.
Jacob, how do you pronounce Wingardium Leviosa? If you don't answer correctly, you go against the wall.
Tomorrow we will be doing the mandatory Beauty and the Beast live action screening. Attend or die. Yeah, I'm excited for the Fourth Reich, I think. Gonna be a lot of fun hanging out with the boys in the camps, watching Harry Potter. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll make it. There's so much food now compared to the 40s. Like, surely they won't starve us. It's so cheap just to feed us. It'd be weird.
Okay, except all of the food is going to be Harry Potter themed. It's what they serve at Harry Potter World.
Every flavored beans.
Yeah.
Only every flavored beans.
Just a fucking goulash of only flavored beans.
That's part of the torture method.
Right.
They'll like for weeks at a time, they will only ever feed you every flavor beans.
Yeah.
Every so often you get sent to a table where it's just like one of the feasts from the movies, and then you try to touch it and your hand's just slapped away.
I'm constantly coming up with wacky pranks and schemes to try to get one of the guards to give me an article of clothing, because then they'll have to let me free. Consistently trying to... I mean, I feel like I could probably outsmart Harry Potter Fourth Reich prison guards pretty easily. I feel like I'm definitely smarter than that type of guy.
Did you hear one of the really silly ways that Joanne kind of tried to like clap back at people criticizing the house elf slavery thing?
Yeah.
People were like, well, hold on, why is it that you're saying that the house elves like being slaves? Because Dobby was super stoked when he was free. And Joanne tried to write another house elf character who like earned her freedom. Yeah. And then she earned her freedom and became so miserable that she became like depressed and drunk and ended up committing suicide or something.
What the fuck?
So Rowling was like, well, sorry kids, they like being slaves so much that if you free them, they might die.
Why can't she just admit that she's a bad writer?
I don't know, dude.
Like, that's wild. If I wrote a series of books, right? And then people started looking at the series of books and they're like, you know, Jacob, we noticed that like all your characters are white and there's some like shit in here that seems kind of weird. I'd be like, guys, I'm just a shitty writer. Like, oops. Like, I wasn't thinking that hard when I wrote it. That's all she has to do, is be like, guys, I wasn't thinking very hard when I wrote it. No,
but what she does is when they call her out, she tries to like... She doesn't even try to fix it. She tries to write in like a little fuck you. Like when people were like, hey, Joanne, why don't more people use the time turners from your third book? Why'd you introduce time travel and then never use it again? Now, what a normal writer would do is be like, hey guys, I just wanted to write one book that had time travel in it, and then I never wanted to think about it again. So can you guys do me a favor and just ignore the time travelers? Sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right? Instead of doing that, what she did was, in I think book 5 or something, 2 characters are fighting in the Ministry of Magic. One of them knocks over a drawer, and it turns out all the time travelers in the world were in that drawer, and they all broke when it got knocked over.
She's a bad writer, and I'm tired of hearing about her. And after this, if I remember, I'm probably going to mute her name on Twitter because I just don't give a shit.
You guys got really upset when I showed you that song that Steven Seagal did.
Yeah, why? I mean, how could I not find that viscerally upsetting?
Well, I mean, you guys got so upset and shouted at me to turn it off so much. You missed the part where Steven Seagal said the line, "I want the punani tonight."
Good. I'm glad I missed it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear Steven Seagal mutter with his weird little eyes, "I want the punani."
Yeah, I don't want to do. I don't want to hear.
I don't want that.
Do you think he would fight me? You think I could set that up?
I mean,
do you think I could?
Yeah,
I could defeat Steven Seagal.
Oh yeah.
What you would, dude? You know the funniest way you could do it?
Yeah.
Tell him, like, let him hire you on as one of those dudes that, like, pretend to be one of those guys who you'll, like, let him throw you around at one of his Aikido demonstrations.
I'm one of those. I sign on to be one of those guys that, like, pretends to get, like, thrown across the room by Steven Seagal projecting his mana or whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then instead of letting him Aikido you into another dimension, you just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, I just fucking drop a bomb on his face.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you have to imagine, he's, like, so old and out of shape now that if I just, like, practiced a fucking, like, a good right hook, I could probably drop him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. I can't emphasize enough, he's never actually been good at martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Even when he was young and fit, the quote unquote interview where he showed a bunch of Hollywood execs his Aikido in, like, a demonstration, and that was what got him his first ever movie role. Even back then, one of the guys that he was tossing around was interviewed, and the guy was like, "Dude, I have no idea how anyone fell for it." Dude, he was absolutely not doing anything, and we were just letting him toss us around. I have no idea how they didn't see through that.
Yeah, but I don't think, I mean, even if they did see that, like, his martial arts were fake, they're film executives. All they care is, like, is this going to look cool on TV? So if they saw his demonstration and were like, yeah, like, we understand this is fake, but it looks like it's going to look cool on TV, that's all they give a shit about. Like, they don't care.
I guess.
Because you can watch, like, even if you watch, like, a fucking, because Bruce Lee was, like, an incredibly talented martial artist, but if you watch his movies, you're like, yeah, this isn't real. Do you know what I mean?
No, yeah, but there's a difference between stuff that's fake and looks good and stuff that's fake and looks bad. Like, there's a lot of people who are into martial arts movies who are going to hate me right now, but, like, Shaw Brother films, like, the martial arts don't look good.
No.
If you're watching a Shaw Brothers movie, the martial arts looks like shit.
Yeah, but Hollywood reptiles don't have any artistic integrity, and they can't tell what looks good and what looks bad.
Okay,
if the funny man with the ponytail does a high enough kick, they're like, damn, that's fucking awesome. This rocks.
What?
I just have Joe Rogan, TRT, steroids, break the seal, cut the tattoo, he shrinks.
What the fuck?
Oh, I remember that bit from a long time ago. It wasn't Joe Rogan. It was I fucking had a tweet a long time ago where I talked about how I got in a fight with a knife fight with The Rock, and I cut one of his tattoos and broke the spell, and then he shrunk down into like a 5'4" manlet. That was what the joke was.
Oh my
God. Holy shit, I totally forgot about that.
The Rock manlet.
I was like, yeah, I broke Dwayne The Rock Johnson's fucking cursed spell, and now he's the size of a normal guy. Now he's just the normal Dwayne Johnson. Not really very much like a rock at all. I'm coming for all of your childhood heroes. Jesse Ventura. Dude, me and Amanda were listening to a podcast about Jesse Ventura the other day, trying to find lizard people.
Oh my God, dude.
I fucking love Jesse Ventura. I wish I could, like, hear his voice so that I could do an impression.
But I can't see it. And if I can't see it, it's not real.
The best part... I've never seen somebody walking around like no 6-foot lizard.
No
Fucking
6-foot
so
tall
funny,
lizard.
dude.
Do they have tails?
I wish Jesse Ventura would run for president and win. Can you imagine can you imagine if Jesse Ventura was president during the fucking Ukraine-Russian conflict? Putin, god damn, it's so hard to make my voice like sound like that. I don't know what Putin needs to step down from this conflict. He kind of sounds like a cross between the My Pillow guy and like some like it's weird. Like there's no way his voice sounds like that. He's like a cross between the My Pillow guy and Alex Jones in terms of like how he sounds. Because he's kind of like deep and gravelly, but he's got that like fat jowly sound to his mouth.
He's also a little bit, like just a tiny bit nasally.
Yeah. I was the governor of Michigan for 3 years. And a Navy SEAL. And today I'm going to be looking for where the lizards are at. He also like enunciates everything too.
That's
Lizards.
Probably from his wrestling training, because you have to enunciate and like,
well, you're
Tim,
on stage.
theater kid, kid. What do you call it?
You have to project.
Thank you.
You have to speak from the diaphragm because wrestling is just theater.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. It's theater with better blocking.
Yeah, it's a redneck for animes. Wait, anime for rednecks. I'm dyslexic. I'm disabled. You guys can't make fun of me for that. You're
Are you
ableist.
literally neurodivergent and a minor, Jacob?
Well, I'm not a minor, but
thank God.
I mean,
Jacob is literally neurodivergent and a war criminal.
Yeah.
True.
I've committed many war crimes.
I mean, but who isn't these days?
Yeah, we're all war criminals when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen what we do to those cows to get that milk? We're all committing the crimes, man. We're all in the system. We're all part of the system. Can you guys tell I got high a lot this weekend? In my description for Grime in the Grime video, I was like, we're all just Grime, dude. We're the Grime.
We're the Grime.
I love that one comment who was like, damn, dog, I just came to see if the like game was good. Now I gotta start thinking about my life and shit.
Yeah. I didn't expect that. That game was that was a very good like Gnostic plotline. I didn't really get into it as much as I could have, but it was very, very good. I think I need to start making more content where I'm just talking about just stuff that I find interesting.
Just use the video game as an excuse to talk about something else.
Yeah, that's kind of what Jacob Geller does. Where it'll like start being about a video game and then like in his fucking Fear of Depths video, it like starts being about a video game and then it's like a bunch of on location filming inside of a cave and you're like, what the fuck is this video about?
How did we get here?
Jacob Geller's kind of a genius, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's the beard. He has some sort of witch beard. It's
Yeah.
like giving him power. It doesn't look real on his face.
He invented the Geller field, right? It's what protects our ships from the chaos?
Yeah, that's how we fly through the warp without being boarded by demons.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Weird that, like, he started as a YouTube video essayist.
I know.
Though. It's, like, not... You'd think that the avenue from, like, that to... You think that the avenue to building some sort of interdimensional shield would be, like a physicist.
I mean, not necessarily.
And not just a YouTuber.
I mean, how do we know he's just a YouTuber and not like a techno
Yeah,
priest
he could
at this
be like
point?
critical where he was like using YouTube to pay for college and then just like never stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's possible. You guys, there's so much good space shit coming up. I'm so fucking excited for the TRAPPIST-1 analysis. That is going to be dope. For people that don't know, TRAPPIST-1 is a star system that has 7 rocky planets all orbiting it, and all 7 of them are in like the habitable zone and can have liquid water. It's going to be fucking wild.
How far
it's like
away?
7 Earths in one solar system. I think it's like 46 light years. Let me check. Distance to Earth is 39.46 light years. So it's like 40 years away, which means that we're pretty much, in terms of like cosmic timescales, we're basically looking at it in present time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like whatever is going on there right now because there's no way that it would be different in 46 years.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for the analysis of that. I'm just really excited for the James Webb Space Telescope now that it's functional. That first image was really, really fucking sick.
Yeah.
It's gonna be wild.
Look into the beginning of time.
Yeah,
tell us
me
what you see, James Webb.
Tell me where the aliens are because I'm jacking them all off.
Yeah.
Yeah, your boy needs to know. He's been practicing. He's gotten amazing wrist strength.
Yeah, you'll never believe the jack-off dexterity that I've developed over the past, what year is it? Over the past
2022?
6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Specifically only for aliens, though. He practices on bad dragon models.
Yeah, exactly. I got a degree in... I bought $25,000 worth of bad dragon dildos, and I got a degree in astrobiology specifically so that I'd be really good at jacking off aliens when they got here. Because I don't want to fuck it up, you know what I mean? I don't want that's the one chance that we've got when they land to prove that like we're worth it. So we should probably just start jacking them off.
Yeah, you want them to have a nice time. You're the welcoming committee.
Can you imagine the aliens land and then Jacob kicks open the doors to the White House and is just running in and screaming, "I've been studying the blade. Let me say hello.
Mr. President, get down. They're going to take their dicks out." Yeah. That'd be awesome.
And then you get there and it doesn't look anything like any of the bad dragon dildos that you practiced on.
Once you master the way, you see it in all things.
Yeah,
exactly.
If I can imagine,
it is his hero moment where he sees the universe in all its dimensions in one singular moment at the tip of that alien's dick.
Yeah.
And then chases it all the way down the shaft to its balls to completion.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, if you're an alien picking up this signal out in space, that's what is waiting for you here. And if you subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $2 a month for exclusive podcast content, I'll throw in a little bit of a bonus. I'll figure something out. I've got a goth friend with an OnlyFans. Maybe I can hook you up with some of her stuff or something. We'll figure it out.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm impressed that whenever you list your credentials, like an old Viking lord listing his victories in the long haul, you don't list your goth friend with the OnlyFans more often.
I mean, I feel like pretty much everybody has a goth friend with an OnlyFans at this point. If you're in the social strata that I'm in, which is being a piece of garbage, you probably have a goth friend with an OnlyFans.
Yeah,
it's pretty standard now.
The reason that you and I don't have goth friends with OnlyFans is because we have careers.
Yeah, exactly.
So the people that we know either aren't ballsy enough to wear their shit to work, or they're not going to tell you about it.
It sucks, though. I want to know goth friends with OnlyFans. It's just kind of, it sounds neat.
How is there not a single person that you've met on Discord that's a goth with an OnlyFans?
Well, because I'm dating the goth, but she doesn't have an OnlyFans.
And you're married to the other goth.
Who also doesn't have an OnlyFans.
Yeah, well, it seems like you just got unlucky then.
Yeah.
That's just a bad coin flip.
Yeah.
Not really your fault.
I could sell my feet. I could sell feet pics.
Yeah, you could probably sell your feet.
You could sell feet pics. Do you think that NASA is going to be able to capitalize on this James Webb stuff to become, like, relevant again?
I hope so. Because... I mean, the problem is that people just do not give a flying fuck about space shit at all. Like, they do not care. Most people don't even know the James Webb Space Telescope launched.
Well, what annoys me the most is that the people who are the most interested in space
are like the last people on Earth you would want to be interested.
Yeah. It's like tech bros who all think that Elon Musk is going to save us.
Dude, the thing that's annoying is that, like, privatizing space is going to fucking suck, and we're going to regret it immediately, just like we regret, like, privatizing fucking water and healthcare. Like, it's not going to be fun. You know, a lot of people don't know this, but the Hubble Space Telescope and the James Webb Space Telescope are the people's telescopes. Yeah. Any human being on Earth, you listening to this right now, literally, could write a proposal for James Webb Space Telescope time on a fucking napkin and submit it to the right people, and they have to read it and consider you for telescope time. Anybody can do it. They are public works. That is how fucking space should be operated. Like, it will be a mistake to privatize it, I guarantee you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really good thing that Musk is unironically too incompetent and divorced to get to Mars. Because
that's the other thing that drives me crazy about it too, is that everybody talks about, like, the Falcon Heavy and all this stuff, which, by the way, all of the rockets that SpaceX has been able to design, they designed specifically from, like, poaching talent and ideas from NASA. Yeah. So, like, none of those ideas were their ideas, but also, like, people are talking about these fucking private companies like SpaceX and Blue Horizon like they're fucking breaking new ground. I'm like, dude, NASA designed the James Webb Space Telescope, which is the most advanced piece of technology that humans have ever built, period. And it was launched into space flawlessly on an ESA rocket. So the public space programs working together are doing like... Elon Musk is literally fucking playing with Tonka trucks in comparison to what they're pulling off. Like, it is not even fucking comparable. Like, SpaceX is not as impressive as people think that it is, at all. In terms of, like, what's actually going on in, like, the space and physics community, not impressive. Because people are like, oh my god, he made a rocket that can, like, take off and then land again. It's like, okay, who cares?
Yeah.
Like, what are we gonna do with it?
We did that in the 60s.
Yeah, first of all, we've already basically done that. And two, what the fuck are we gonna do with it? And, like, I really do think that SpaceX, the entire point of SpaceX was a long con just to get the ISS contract. Yeah. And that was, like, all it ever was going to be.
Speaking of Elon Musk, I do want to talk about how genuinely embarrassing it must be that Elon Musk and Kanye West are now the two best friends that anyone's ever had, because they both had the hilarious experience of being the most divorced dudes in the public eye.
Yeah, they did get very... I mean, I would say that Kanye was probably more divorced than Elon, because Elon, like, he really only goes off on Twitter. Other than, like, his Twitter feed and, like, a rare podcast appearance, he's, like, pretty isolated. Kanye was going hog wild on all social medias and everywhere all the time.
Both of these guys are sitting here posting pictures of them, like, doing, like, badass poses. And the whole picture is just like, we are the best friends because we are both wildly divorced.
Yeah, we both used to have bitch wives. Yeah, my kid, 3 of the letters in my kid's name aren't real anymore.
And then imagine being Kanye West and everyone just kind of knows that the guy who stole your wife from you is protecting you from Saturday Night Live.
Maybe if SNL was like actually mean, they would be funny though. Maybe we should just let them be mean. Maybe we should start the evil SNL arc and see if it improves their content.
Maybe.
I would never want to be protected from Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live is my enemy, and I welcome their hatred. I'm going to walk past 30 Rockefeller Plaza like a fucking JoJo character, dude. SNL is no match for my Eagle Claw style. I can guarantee you.
I'm going to stand across the street, bare my breasts, and scream a curse at the top of my lungs to the executives at SNL.
It's very cool that Viking curses involve taking your tits out. I think that was a good move.
I think that was actually a feature of Roman.
A lot of old cultures have a lot of aspects that involve just taking your tits out.
Well, I mean, cool.
I'm pretty sure it's the Minoans who just walked around with tits out all the time.
Yeah, we should do more. We should do more boob related curses. Like, I want to normalize the boob related curse so intensely that we get to the point where, like, when an angry Karen is like with her six obese kids at a fucking Starbucks, and the order comes back wrong, she gets so mad at the barista that she pulls her tits out and starts casting a spell.
Yeah.
I want that to be the reality. Like, we need to manifest a better reality. Like, this one is boring. People aren't the right, like, the fun kind of insane. It's all just, like, the boring lizard people type of insane, where it's like, oh, I just want more money. Like, no, I want you to be, like, trying to be a tit wizard.
Wait, who was the last person I cursed? You guys were here.
I don't remember.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe you cursed them to not exist, and that's why we don't remember.
Yeah, it could be.
I think you might have deleted somebody from reality.
Cool.
Like, we wake up and we're like, who were we mad at yesterday? I remember being really pissed off yesterday, but, like, I can't figure out why. Oh my god, that reminds me of a fucking other bit that I had. Tim, I came up with this bit, right? So you know modern fantasy settings, like the Dresden Files, and like the whatever comic book series that Constantine is from. I came up with this idea for, like, a shaman character in a modern setting, but instead of using, like, you know, some, like, fucking like herb or like some psychedelic or some like fucking traditional indigenous plant. He just gets ripped off of like a really fucked up hard drug, like meth, like some sort of meth shaman. Everybody hates having to deal with him because he's always fucking ripped out of his mind on meth, and he just like lives in like a dilapidated crack house, but like they have to use him to get information.
So like he's basically, all those fake panels about Moon Knight that go around the internet?
Yeah.
Where he's like, give me some fucking ketamine, you nerd.
Yeah.
Like, just if those panels were real.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's got to be like, it would be even funnier if it was like, I just like the idea of projecting that sort of like hippie, health conscious, like spiritual culture.
Right.
Where it's like kind of sanitized and it's like, oh, a nice lady in a tie-dye sundress doing safe drugs in a clean house. I like the idea of like projecting that culture onto just like a meth head psycho who like lives in a fucking abandoned building.
We should write this comic.
We should.
It's very funny.
He lives in an abandoned building. He goes into a meth rage and sees all dimensions at once.
Yeah.
And then when he gets back out, he reads what he saw from the fresh scratches on his body.
Right, because he's trying to get the bugs out of his skin.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like automatic writing, but for bugs in your skin.
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk about that medium you guys are watching the show about. Do you have anything funny to talk about on that?
Tyler Henry.
Yeah.
Well, or maybe talking about mediums in just kind of a general sense. Like,
yeah, I think most mediums are just doing cold reading. I have never personally seen a medium do medium shit where I didn't immediately identify that they were using cold reading techniques. Like, because people are always like, oh, well, like, you have to find, like, real mediums out in the world that, like, aren't famous, that are just, like, doing the work sort of anonymously or whatever. And, like, yeah, you're probably right. Like, I would imagine if there's somebody out there who, like, actually does fucking medium shit, like, they're probably not famous enough to be on TV, because getting on TV requires, like, a lizard people energy that, like... And also, I don't think a lot of people want to be... I think a lot of people don't want to be famous.
Right.
There's like this meme that everybody wants to be famous in America, but I don't really think that many people are that interested in doing it. Because it's easier now to get famous than it ever has been before, and not very many people are trying that hard.
That chick who played Matilda when she was younger.
Yeah.
I follow her on Twitter, and actually she just very recently tweeted something that reminds me of that. She was like, I don't actually think I would want to be an A or B list celebrity, but I do want to do one of those interviews where people surprise me with a box of kittens. And I kind of feel like it's what everyone wants.
Yeah.
No one wants to be an A or B list celebrity. Like, I wouldn't want to be an A or B list celebrity, but I do want to get interviewed every now and again. Yeah. In like one of those silly interviews where people have like the board with people's highest ranked Google searches about me, and I get to answer them and say funny things.
Yeah. Like, you just want people to be interested in you on some fucking level. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but not too interested to where it like upsets your daily routines.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be able to go out to the store or get food without people coming up to you. I get it.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be in that really nice sweet spot.
What the fuck was I talking about to bring up getting famous, by the way?
Mediums.
Oh, right. Yeah, maybe there are real mediums out there somewhere, but I have yet to experience a medium that wasn't doing very obvious cold reading techniques. Now, I will say that some of the fucking cold reading techniques that I've seen them do are very fucking good and extremely specific, and I have to imagine that their like rate of failure is like pretty high. Like, they take some risks sometimes.
Well, it's like when you see a successful wolf hunt and you're like, man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And then you find out later they only have like a 20% success rate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I would love to see just a compilation of like TV's most famous mediums just eating shit on a reading.
You're like, man, I'm getting like some masculine energy and I'm sensing a J.
Yeah, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
And the person's just like, that none of that's right.
Yeah. I mean, those videos are all over the internet, but usually the really famous mediums are too smart to get caught.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because, like, you have to be an idiot. Like, you would have to like sign on to some deal to be filmed and give the other people full rights to do whatever they want with the film, and then you would have to bomb. So, like, you have to fall into the trap, and then you also have to be, like, bad enough to get caught. Because if you're a really good medium and you have like gigantic nuts, you could probably sign on to the deal and say that you can do whatever you want with the film, but be so confident in your own ability and like you're like such a good cold reader that you're gonna make it work and make it look real.
Right.
Like that could happen, but most of the time they won't fall into that obvious of a trap. I think remote viewing is probably legit on some level, though. It seems like there's too much smoke for there to not be fire. Like there's a lot of studies about it that seem pretty good. It's pretty interesting. I don't think we'll ever get to the point where there's like human beings that are fucking like super psychics that can like astrally project to Mars. But I feel like there's probably some sort of like a universal consciousness field going on that people can like tap into, like a little, like dip their toe into a little tiny bit under the right circumstances.
Well, I also think that I'm not inclined to believe in stuff like modern mediums.
Yeah.
But if there's like a medicine man who gives me some shit that gets me fucked up and is like, no, that's a demon coming out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's probably, yeah, I'm like that too for some reason.
I'm a bit more inclined to be like, he's got to know what he's talking about a little bit. I feel awful.
Is there some sort of like model minority stereotype that I'm falling into by assuming that a naked shaman in the jungle might actually be magic as opposed to a medium that eats at Burger King?
Right, yeah,
you know what I mean?
We're probably falling a little bit for like the noble savage trope. Well, and also I imagine if I go to Australia and get fucked up on some shit and some guy tells me to go on walkabout and I'm like dessert and I'm just wandering around for like a month and I come back and he's like, did you experience the Dreamlands?
Yeah.
I imagine at some point I had a wild enough mental experience being out there alone, just trying to survive and being fucked up on some shit that like I probably experienced the Dreamlands a bit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like I'd come back and I'd be like, you know what, man? Fucking yeah, I kind of did.
Yeah, I think I did.
I'm not the same person I was. And I feel like there's an element to that's like mandatory to kind of believe.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, that's the thing that's interesting about the like indigenous cultures that use psychedelics, because like it's not like, oh, we have a guy who talks to spirits and you're like, oh, really? What are the spirits saying? It's like, okay, drink this.
Yeah.
And it's like once the psychedelic experience starts happening, you can't really deny it. Like you can't really say like, oh, this doesn't seem like a legitimate thing that's happening to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas like maybe all right, Catholics, this is how, listen, we all recently converted to Catholicism. We've got the Our Lady of Guadalupe candle burning up on the mantle, but other than the three of us right now, the Catholic Church is just not doing very good, especially in like Western developed countries. Like all the pedophile stuff, really not good PR. People just aren't interested in like more fundamental Christianity. Here's all you have to do. Just replace the communion wafer with like a half tab of acid, maybe a quarter tab for like the kids. Like don't get the kids too fucked up.
Yeah,
like just
take it easy, like, body weight.
Yeah,
right?
And then people can and then start doing like Gregorian chants around the stained glass windows while everybody's on acid. That'll be awesome. That'll make it way cooler, dude.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
burn some frankincense and some myrrh.
As one of the literal only 3 good Catholics in the entire world, I agree with this.
Who are the other 2 good Catholics?
You guys. We just converted.
Oh, I thought you were going to be talking about like the Pope.
Yeah.
No.
He seems okay as far as Catholics go.
I mean, yeah.
We need a Pope that is either so good or so bad that he fractures Catholicism again, and we get into another period of history where there's like 5 popes.
That'd be cool.
That's what we need. That's what Catholicism needs to really... That's the real shake-up it needs, right?
We need a Pope smackdown.
Pope
War. I'm talking WWE smackdown in the Vatican.
We need like the ultra-conservative Pope, and then like the fucking middle ground Pope, and then like the super like terminally online Twitter lefty Pope. And then we need like the entheogen psychedelic Pope, and we need another Pope that's just sort of like one of those cool youth pastors who like there's kind of something fucking wrong with him and you can never really figure out what it is. You're like, what the fuck? What is the deal with this guy?
Can I be the cool youth pastor Pope?
I mean,
I don't know if you have cool youth pastor vibes.
No, you don't.
Yeah, because I don't look at you and like feel upset about anything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
I don't look at you and like get uncanny valley. That's the type of youth pastor.
The thing.
Oh, you're talking about like a Joel Osteen ministry where his smile's just a little too wide.
Joel Osteen is like, he's like hard lizard person.
Yeah.
I'm talking about somebody
who's soft lizard.
Yes, like, yeah, but I'm talking about somebody who's like soft reptilian, where you look at him and you're just like, what the fuck? What's going on here?
No, anytime I've actually gone when I was younger and I was living with my much more religious birth mother, I've actually been to like Christian camps.
Yeah,
that had youth pastors like that. And the thing about them that I can now like retroactively look back and realize what it was. It's not necessarily a feeling of uncanny valley. It's you look at them and you realize that you are staring at a font of wasted potential.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, this is a guy who just could have been cooler. He could have been doing something else.
Right,
yeah,
right,
Tim.
because he's trying so hard to be the cool guy within the context of his life.
Yeah.
Tim,
Yeah.
There was a guy that I used to work with who everybody thought was really cool, but I got that vibe from him, and I found out he used to be a youth pastor.
Dude, it's what it is.
He makes music, right? He fucking seems cool, seems like an alright guy, and then it's just like, oh, bud, you could have been so much cooler if you weren't just like...
trying to brainwash kids.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Inherently Optimistic. I don't know. Hey, will you guys do an intro real quick so I can put it at the beginning of the episode because we forgot to do one, and then we'll also have it at the end, and it's like a funny bit for people who made it to the end.
Right. Hi, I'm Tim. They made me do a Hail Mary before this episode for some reason.
And I'm Amanda. I made him do the Hail Mary and also set up some cats for Freya, so we're blessed.
Yeah, we're trying to bless the podcast since we're all Catholics now, but we're doing like a connate sort of Catholicism where we're just putting everything in there because like something's got to work, but we're not really sure what it is yet. Anyway, I do a YouTube channel, ProbablyJacob, on YouTube. ProbablyJacob Live. I stream on Twitch sometimes. At ProbablyJacobIO on Twitter. Join the Discord. Patreon, $2 a month for exclusive podcast episodes you can't get not on Patreon. I think that's everything. I think it's all the stuff that I do.
Watch our episode about Earth's greatest villain. It was pretty dope.
That's pretty good. We're gonna have to plan another big episode soon.
Yeah, we'll do something for you guys.